Yes. Now, first of all, thank you for having me here in your Plaza workshop place. And I'm extremely excited of having you actually in my studio here in Amsterdam. My name is, what you said, Machteld Aardse. It's a very Dutch name, so Maggy is fine. And this is very close to the central station where we are here in the studio. It's used to be, I always like to show you around where I just imagine you are working now here with me in the studio. So show you around. It used to be a monastery for women. And as we are working today on the topic of seas, I took some examples, a quick view with a little garden, really in the center of Amsterdam. So whenever somebody is around, please try and look up for me. And this place where I work is often just a place for me alone. So it feels very, well, special that you are here now with me. And usually when I paint, I go out. Already as a child, I would go out in the woods. I started painting with oils, actually. Here are just some examples. I always work my inspiration is from nature, really, from real life. But then when more than 20 years ago, I came in touch with Lascaux acrylic colors. And I really changed to acrylics, really for the health of my body. As you see, my hands are already ruined because of all the oil paint and the white spirit. And when I go out, I go into the country or to specific places. So some years ago, I went to California, and after my work is a project, really. And I followed, just for the introduction, so you know what I do. I went to the Salinas Valley, and this is all done with, Lascaux colors. So I take it in my backpack, some water, paper. These are just sketches. And most of these paintings, I just sat there on the spot and started painting. And because your country is so huge, I had to change size, because I brought this from my little frog country. And then I entered your space of the Salinas Valley. It is where all the groceries are being, grown. And so I followed the seed, and there I realized, okay, I have to change size. So, in preparation of this workshop, I have now my little spot here. I went to the sea because I really love the sea, and the sea is not far from Amsterdam. So I brought exactly the canvases that you had with the paint that we will open later. Oh, like this. And the brush and the palette knife. And I took some children with me to have more fun. And there I just sat at the seaside, very, very windy. So these are sketches done real or en plein air, full of sand. But these sketches for me are, this is actually the artist's colors mixed with sand by the wind. That I could not help. But this helps me also back in the studio to continue working. And for me, also another sketch that I can work on later. For me, painting, oh, this is not working really well. It's okay. For me, the inspiration is really the real life. Everything around me I see as a painting, actually. The colors of the sky and the colors of the blues of the seas, but also here the little garden with all the greens. And I think the set that you get is really wonderful to find out, and every time to check what color is it from the real life and how can I transfer it to my own composition. So let me first tell a bit about the Lascaux colors that we will use. It's a Swiss manufacturer, and yeah, today led by the woman Barbara Diethelm. So that's kind of beautiful that I'm here in a women's monastery and as a female artist, but also I'm very proud of Barbara Diethelm keeping the high quality of the product. As her father was the pioneer, was the first one on the European, in Europe to develop acrylics. So I never met him, but when I came in contact with Lascaux, but people say he was a very special man because he had a lot of contact with artists, and he saw artists work with oil and water, and then he realized I have to develop a very high quality acrylic paint. So he was the first one, and Barbara now continues the product. And most important is high quality. But everything in Switzerland, it's a beautiful little factory. And the people working there, it's like a little family. So knowing all these products go through beautiful hands, that's now in your hands. So more about, well, you'll find out, and I'll tell more while we are working. The colors are, you have a little set, but you'll find out you just need a little. They're high pigmented, all light fast, and on the, well, some people of you probably know, but some not, so I just tell it. If you see closely, you can see in the range of colors, there's this little square with a black triangle and let's say a white triangle or transparent. This means that the color is semi-opaque. Yeah, a semi-opaque, yeah, I'm right. Let's see what we have here. Yeah, this is another nice example. So please check your beautiful box. Here you see it's covering. This is a black square, which means when you put a line, you put the paint on top, it's not transparent, it's opaque. I have the luxury to have a bigger size colors as well. And in the shops, what is really, really wonderful, you'll find out the color that is here, it's hand painted. So you always know what is in the tube or the jar. We have this as well. Now, I thought of the theme, the sea, painting the sea together. Not only because I love the sea, it makes me silent and also in awe for nature, but also historically it's been a big inspiration for so many artists. And I have these, that's a luxury. Of course, in the Netherlands, we have all these big masters, but I thought just to show you, no, the sea is not only the sea, there's always the sky, so it's all connected. And there's always the movement, not only in the water, but also in the sky. I have another more example. And it's not only, if you ask people to have an image, so this is a nice question for you, have an image in your mind, oops, wish I was watching this, of the sea you love. And then often I hear also with grown-ups, with children, they imagine this tropical sea with no clouds, just beautiful, this aquamarine sky. But if you look at the paintings in of artists, they go for the rough sea, the rough skies where drama is there. And here there's of course a big challenge just about the colors. So the sea can be blue, pink, yellow, like the skies, and also, so that's also this. It's never a bore to look at the sea. At night, I always wanted to make night seas where you find the white little waves coming over. So I don't have the originals anymore, but these are the seas from Senegal, and I think I made 450, these were drawings that for an animation, that then after can be, you know, you have lived through the sea, you can make them as a big painting. So that, therefore then the next step is for me the paint. But also little postcards at night. I just show you now just to have you get inspired yourself, because for me the most important really also during this workshop is not that you copy me, but I really believe the creativity and the language of painting is in everybody. And so I would love to see at the end of this workshop every own sea, everybody who has created their own sea. Maybe somebody already prepared something. If you did not prepare, don't worry, because I have enough around to guide you. And also in this adventure, we will, now you'll find out also with the colors, we can continue. But before we start, I really want to do a little exercise. So if you are able to stand, please stand. And otherwise you can do it from your seat. Because while standing, I also have to move it a little bit. Yeah, I did not talk about my background really but I'll tell meanwhile we're painting. But during my life, I came in contact with a French director of the Art Academy when I was small, and he taught me one little thing, how to hold your brush. That's starting point for painting. And of course, there's never one way of painting. People paint like this, or maybe with their mouth, but this is just a very nice way of holding. So you open your hand. I had a little accident, so my hands are my life. So, but focus on the middle finger. Use the hand that you're painting with, open it, and then find the balance point with your brush. And with the thin brush that we got, it's quite difficult, but if you have it, then you put your thumb on top, and now you have a very nice way of holding it. Now, this is for later. I'll have my canvas later here, I'll move a bit. Now you can really make, without doing anything, make straight lines. Not like Rembrandt having this. So this we need when we do the horizons later, huh? With that, not a crooked line, but also big circles. And also, so I do it now towards you as if you were the canvas. You can, tuck, 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 make it really tough lines or very soft lines. And actually it's not even dancing, it's just moving with your feet on the floor and already breathe in and breathe out. So this, I think, is really the basis of painting. Use the body and also the softness and the toughness. Sometimes you need rough lines and sometimes you just need very soft lines. This will all communicate towards the observer, but always also to yourself. Yeah, so for me, painting is like breathing, but also finding your own fascination and sharing it. It's also like talking. Actually, I'm talking now to you, but in real, I'm quite shy. So I prefer painting in that sense. And if it is a real good painting, or you feel you put everything in it, then probably when you show it, you will feel very vulnerable, as if you have given everything. So that's for me about the painting. The same you can do also with the palette knife that we have. It's like also with the movement of the body. Use the speed or softness. And the luxury that we have now, having this high quality paint, is especially when we'll open it in a bit, when we start painting, you'll find out that the heavy thickness of the paint, so my English is not as perfect as yours, but I try to find the real words, that if you put it on, I'll just show you first on a piece of paper. Oops. I can show it later a bit closer, but if I put this on, the paint will stay exactly like this. So this is high quality paint, that it will not drop down. I started this story, or my story, as a child. I would go out with the oil paints in nature. And for me, but that's my own, how I feel this painting links a bit to the oil thinking, not only about this thickness, but also you'll find out the smoothness of the paint, that you can work with palette knives, thick, thin. And you'll find also while working with it, the smoothness has also to do with how the colors were made. So every color that you hold in your hand, even with these small little ones, it has its own recipe. Every pigment is selected very carefully and has its own recipe to be able to have the good paint to paint with. And also every color will be tested after made. So in the factory of Lascaux, you'll find a whole archive of samples tested. So every color that you hold has a print, or not a print, like a painted sample in the factory, also to guarantee that the colors people are working with will be exactly the same. Yeah. Then there are 54 colors used. I'll show it like this. And of course, we diluted. Lascaux specialized on acrylics. You dilute it with water. So I have a bucket of water when we start. I have canvas boards, 3 of them. And I thought it would be a nice idea. For me, it works always best to work in series. So if we use one, you have 3, one canvas board like your palette. Okay? So here you do your color mixing, which is fun because often when you, there's this saying, if your palette is well, then your painting is well or good. So also when you have your palette, then, or your canvas as a palette, on the palette you never think. So that's also important. You don't think, you just do, mix, find out, and then you try it later on the second one. And then I always have a 3, and number 3 can be, so this one, the second one you use as if you think this is the serious one. And then if you have time, you can also use the third one just to have more the in between. Yeah. So a real one, a play one, and the palette. So that is about the canvases. In my, I did not have your package, so I found something that looks a bit alike you are using. So I'll work on this as well. To be sure, but that's what I always like to work with, to be sure that I know where I'm painting on. I prepared it with gesso. And gesso is a very classic grounding that can also be used. It's like also for oil paints, but in this case, I use it for the acrylics, and it feels a bit, it is just a little off-white and absorbent for the paint. So now I know it's safe for me to paint on. Yours already has the gesso on, I think, and well, I think we can start then. Is that okay for you? Yeah? Good. Because we can talk forever, but I think we start. Yeah. So, let me see. For this painting a sea, I realize very much, and that's really by doing, there are different angles. So you can have, this is a mix of painting and crayon. You can have a close-up. The horizon, where is it? Is it up? Is it lower? Or is it more with a distance? This, of course, is more a classic view. And then, that I found interesting in sitting at the seaside myself, in the dunes, in this cloudy, windy day, because that is, of course, the Netherlands. We always have cloudy skies. Here I found that the sky was so interesting that I chose the horizon a bit lower. So that is something for you to play with as well. The theme seas, I have to tell you, I chose this not only because I love the sea, but also I thought this is a very nice way to connect with you and to connect to the acrylic colors, because acrylic, the basis of acrylic is high quality water, which is in the Switzerland. And so the factory is based in Brüttisellen. It's a little village close to the main city, Zurich. And there is the best water. So while making the product, we need very good water, because that will affect the paint as well. Now, so first of all, acrylics, water, but also in this world where we live in, I think we all unite through water and overseas. So at the end of this workshop, I think it would be really nice to at least try to make one image where it is as if we are all connected through the seas, the 7 seas maybe, and the water. So that is my ambition. And then again, I really, really love to see your expression and your adventure in finding out the movement of the seas and the skies. Okay, so I will put my easel a bit closer, and then I'll get my canvas. Let's see here. This you can all see, huh? Yeah. Everybody has got this beautiful box. The Swiss, you can never find so beautiful design as the Swiss do. Everything is the package. Keep it really safe, because these packages, I bring them in my backpack while I go out for painting, because they are always well made. So it starts with the box, but of course it is about the content, the paint. So now you can open the tubes, the sweet little tubes. And I put the first canvas as my palette canvas, okay? And of course, in mind, you can already have your sea that you would love to paint. I hope everybody has something in mind, and otherwise you'll find out while painting. So we have the ultramarine blue. If I go too fast, please let me know, eh?
Will do.
Yeah. We have water, of course, and I've cloth to clean up my brush, but you can also have some tissue. Nah.
Phthalo blue in our kit.
Sorry?
We have phthalo blue.
Oh, wonderful.
Phthalo blue deep.
Oh yeah, that is it. Sorry. This is, oh yeah, I'll take this one. Sorry. Yeah, phthalo. Yeah, I'll use this. Excuse me.
Susan.
Yeah. I took some as an example. So yeah, I'll put this all. We have.
One more question. Do you have an image that we're going to paint from?
Yeah, we can. I thought we can do as an inspiration, and then maybe that's nice. I will have a painting as an example, which is black and white, and we will bring in the color. Is that fine? Yeah?
Yep.
Because the mixing we do, and I like to have you to find out your colors as well. So if it helps, I will take one image that I made, and this is a nice one. Is that okay? If you prefer, if you prefer to make your own, please feel free to do it. But it's good if you need help, then this is a very nice way to guide you with. Shall we do that? Okay. So this is first the palette. I have, oh, sorry. I also open all the little tubes. So here we have Titan white. It's always a must to have Titan white because it's such a nice covering white. The Hansa yellow, here we are. Yeah, I'll do it this here. Okay. This is wonderful already for you to see that what I was explaining, the paint stays exactly the way I placed it on my board.
Maggie, I have a question. Do you have a strategy when you're placing those colors?
Yeah, so this is actually what I usually do, but now I was a bit, my strategy is more like this. So I now take this. Okay, my strategy is a bit in the classic palette. A white, here the yellows, reds, blues, the cold ones and the warm colors a bit together. Yellow is a bit both. So I always keep the red ones in a area and the real mixing colors together. Like white and yeah. And it's always like the classic palette always had this hole. There's some here around where you can always continue working in that way. And that here are some old palettes. So it's always good to see where you can build on forward. Like here you keep later on the, I kept this also for you to see how a palette can grow, mixing. With a little red, you will get another nice color and more yellowish. So this is what we will play for right now. So you can take your brush and now feel, let's say, so this is a night sea, but you can turn it into a day sea as well. Let's first find out how the colors are. Take a little water, and how much water is, if you have more water, I hear the water. You see how very thin, how watery you can get it. So let's first try to find out the colors. And also, if you have it thick, you see how it works. I always have my brush a little bit humid. Even if I work with only the thick paint, it's humid. For the start, the sketch you build on, I myself prefer to start with a diluted paint, so from thin to thick, yeah. So clean, probably you will see now already how, let's see if I can show you, how high pigmented the colors are, because the water is already filled with so much color that make sure you always have clean water aside, especially when you take another color. And I hope you experience now how brilliant the colors are. So this was for me, well, this was really, I think, more than 25 years ago by now, when I always had the idea that acrylics were not so brilliant until that was the reason that I was painting with oils, until I found these artist qualities of Lascaux colors. You see it just with a little bit, especially with this white surface, how powerful the colors are. How does it feel? Is it surprising? You feel also, if I write, how smooth the colors are. I'll turn it around. And that is something very nice that you feel the smoothness. I also experienced, especially in the art academy, when I was painting, trying to find the brilliancy in a color, that I would never get it. I would use more paint and more paint, but so that I was fighting with the colors. And here with Lascaux, you see, it is supporting you as an artist. It goes with you. And also just using the brush stroke. I prefer always to stand because of the brush strokes, the movement. But I also have a little chair to stay on. So we now first use these primary colors. And maybe, just that you have felt all the colors a little bit, you should use it with a lot of water. Oops. The good thing of acrylics as well is then when it dries, it is waterproof. So the paint can also be used outdoor on different surfaces such as wood, concrete, or any surface. And then knowing that when it is dry, it is waterproof. The artist paint of Lascaux is also often used for mural painting. And the artists choose it just, especially because of the high quality. And also knowing it, the colors will stay. Of course, when you work outdoor with it is, well, how do you call it? It is, you will cover it with a varnish to be sure it's steady. So now what we have done is just to feel the consistency of the paint. And I hope already now you feel the material and what the paint is doing. If you look up close here, just by diluting the paint, you see there's already the beautiful waterly effect. And already here, one can imagine a sun or a sun going down where the skies become red. So now, I think it's fun to get another canvas. Oh, put it like this. And we start from thin to thick. So usually one can start with a charcoal, but I prefer just like sketching. You can draw with the paint itself. Every time, and even put it in your mind that you can always go over and over on top of it. So there are never mistakes. For the for now, I'll go for this dark one to make a very dark color, and therefore I have the blue with a little red. Can you see what's happening on the palette? So if you take a little more red, already you see It's a very beautiful dark purple nearly. And I think this is a nice line to start with. So I'll put the palette now on the table. Little back. It's always important that you can, that your working place is ready. And now I go, let's see, a little more water. I move my line. A little more paint with a little red, just to get a little darker. And from here on, I build on. Sometimes with a prepared paintings, the canvas feels a bit, yeah, if it had been in a package for a long time, how do you call it? It's as if it's a bit oily. So sometimes you first need to clean the canvas before painting. That's why I started with the gesso. Okay, here I have the sky. Now, with this mixing, I have now blue and the red. And if you want, just to show you, I always play with these three colors, blue, red, and yellow. And if you have these three together, and you add a little bit of white, you see, you find beautiful grays, as we saw in the paintings that I showed you in the beginning of the Dutch masters. And if you want a little more bluish gray, so this is nice playing, just to find out how you will build on. The blue that I'm mixing now is still gray, but with more blue. So I'm balancing with these three colors. If I think sometimes if there has been a big storm, the water is very brown. So then I would add more yellow and red towards the mixing of the colors. You see? How does that go? What is very nice in your box is the transoxided black. That's this. And that's a very nice one also, just to use. For example, I now take the yellow to mix with, because there you already get this off color. So there's never really black. Well, from the Impressionists, I learned there's always color to see. And I really love that play while observing nature to find out where all the colors are. So every brush stroke, you can add again a little bit of the other colors. So now I have my horizon. And let me see. I will just play with my colors. And although it's here very dark, I still see closer. Maybe I'll put it a little closer for you too. In this image, like this sky that has a bit of the clouds are there, but not very much visible. So that's very interesting to translate it into colors later on. I used to learn from an artist as well. Choosing your image to paint after is, of course, number one, real life, but copying other artists is also a very good thing to do. So also in your free time, you can choose an image, a painted image, because then you can really see how the person has been painting, how were the clouds created. So also with experiencing of this mixing, watching exhibitions, it's a non-stop translating, how can I do this with my colors? Yeah.
So, hi Maggie.
Yeah.
Can I
Hey,
just interrupt?
iba a limpiar.
I'm sorry, what was that? Oh, Jennifer in the chat was just saying she's not following the mixing, brush filling with paint, and it's a mess. Are you able to go over some of your mixing and cleaning the brush in between a little bit, maybe?
Yeah, so let's start that again. And even if your palette now is a mess, don't worry, because it will become a painting afterwards, okay? So let's start with, on my palette, I have it now here. I have a white. This white is always very the basis. Often I have a lot of white, especially with skies. I have the phthalo blue. And of course, with the seas, I always start with the most important colors. It is the blue. And I wait with the black for later. Then we have here the Hansa yellow. So white, I keep it on the other side. And in between, see, is the red. It is a challenge to try to have you here. So, and I have here the water. Let me do like this. I have the, see here, just a second. Okay. So, of course, first, it's easy to use, keep this big, dot of paint as a source, okay? Now, what I always do, I'll show you here. Before taking another color, I like to keep this clean as possible. So I clean my little brush, dry it, and then I go for the darkness now. I take a little bit from this little side and I mix it. And because of the white surface, you already see what a beautiful dark color you make. I can even add a little more blue to make more paint. And just to show you, this now is the color. Maybe a little bit red. So I make sure I'm mixing it on a palette and I'm making it, finding the color I want. It's not just everything together. Okay. Now this color I just put it on my canvas, and I choose for just to see what do I have, and it is a bit grayish and a bit waterish, but that's okay because later on I'm now sketching, I'm now drawing. So it's just first these two colors. That works, I think, huh? Okay.
Yes, that's great. Thank you.
And as I was actually this is with these colors all together, you can paint so much. That's why, but I went a little bit too fast. I really want to give you that experience that after the workshop, you go outside and you will only be mixing with these colors. Yeah. And when necessary, you can join this. But actually with this, you can go for a whole end. Let's just do the sky with these two colors. And later on, and feel, well, now we're making a bit dark, but later we can also have it a little lighter with mixing again. So in this painting, the sky is a bit soft. It's dark, like a heavy, curtain above the sea. And what I like from, well, the dark sea, of course we can make light seas also, but in this case we have the dark sea, the mystery. That something is on the other side of the horizon. And knowing that the movement of the waves continue and continue. And it's always good, I continue, as you see, I always continue adding a little other color because it's never the same, exactly the same. Blue. And the beauty is that in this painting, in this seascape, the waves are coming to you as a white flow of hope and as a movement, an endless thing of life. So I always start with a bit diluted to already have my composition. And for now we have just these two colors. Later, and as you see, while painting, just having the canvas covered with the colors, you can already see that automatically, and that's for everybody different, you already sense, oh, it will be nice to have some light here. So in the plan, it's always good to see what is happening on the canvas. What can I use to have, it's an interaction between you and the painting as well. Okay. So what is interesting, I think now, while we have been mixing now only two colors, that already a life is starting on the canvas. Is everybody happy painting now?
Yes.
Good.
No.
Just checking. And now slowly, I'll do it a little closer for you. Yeah, that's better. Now, following this image already, Yeah, as you see, sometimes I hold my pencil like a pen, but it's because of the balance point that we tested at the beginning, it's easy to also move like this. Because for the horizontal lines, I see here, I'll make here some lines. And actually, I want it a little darker. So if you want it a little darker, put a little bit of the red in it. And what I do now is just make a first lines that as if you feel waves are coming towards you. And sometimes it's easier, you probably know, just to look through your how do you call this? Through the hair.
Eyelashes?
Eyelashes, yes, exactly. Just do that while you're painting, because then you see where it's light and where it's dark. Also, where is the most light part? I keep still a bit white. And here it's most dark. So I first do the big compositions, and I can also measure it in a bit. You see, 1/3 is the top, 1/3, a little more than 1/3 is the sea in this case. So with a very thin line, and that is so nice with this brush. You saw with the horizon, you can hold it in one direction, like flat, I'll show you. But you can also turn it a quarter and then use the side. So you can have a thick line or a thin line. So I decide if I want the waves already a bit there, to use the thin line, the quarter of my brush. Like this. Just to have a first quick composition. This is a bit too high. And if you make mistakes, don't worry, because you just make another line where you want it, and you will use the other lines later in the paint. So now I'm using my brush. It's very fun just to talk what I'm exactly doing. So you don't need me anymore, just follow the, the voice. Now what I do, again, here, I just draw a bit, because in real life, when the waves are often very difficult, people think. But if you look carefully, under the waves, it's always a bit dark. So that's what we are now creating. I hope you see what I just first do it's a bit now technical. And I'm still with these two colors. Like a basic under layer. So now I'm first actually drawing the sea with paint, which is wonderful because now you already have a basis, a very good basis. And I make just little brush strokes where, when I look through my eyelashes, I see there should be darkness. And right now it's still very abstract, but we'll get life later on. How is it going? So now just with a few lines, I'm building up my painting. And what I will do is then I see these very dark stones on the seaside. So that's maybe a good time to do them now. And I just want to try out first the red. Again, it should be the darkest of everything with the blue. And a little bit humid just to have a nice touch for the painting. We really have to hurry, I see. When we do this, it's you put on the dots. Where you want the stones to be. A nice trick is that the stones in the foreground already feel, there's a foreground here. I start now with the sand, and here comes a bit of yellow. So here it's so gray, and I imagine my sand, and I have it in one of the other examples around me, here. You see, this is more day life, but I really like this sandy color. So let's go for this sandy color. I'll put this aside so you know where we are going a bit. The mixing, here we have the palette again. And happily I find there's still some red here, which I take clean. And I put the red close to where the yellow is, okay? So the red is very powerful, so make sure the red is not too dominant. Now I take some yellow. Let's see what happens. Okay, we have a nice kind of orange, which is of course too much here. So what I do now, I add a little bit of blue and I'll put it close to this color so I can, you see, can play with this triangle. A bit of red, a bit of yellow, and a bit of blue. Now here I find this beautiful brownish. And just to check, I add a little bit of white. And I think maybe a little bit more red.
While you're mixing, Maggie,
Yeah.
just to clarify a little bit for Jessica, she's asking if just kind of the way you're laying out your sketch and then building on top. She's asking if it's that you start with the dark areas, but also be mindful to build up more darkness rather than starting too dark. So do you always make sure you start a little bit lighter and then add?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And so that's why I like to work from thin to thick. And with a canvas, it's always handy where you know if the waves are there to keep it more, to keep the white a bit. But it's never white. So it's always, it doesn't matter. That's what I wanted to explain. It doesn't matter that there's still, oops, sorry. I'll show you that even if I know here comes some white later, that there's some blue underneath because it's all connected, this whole sea of water. And that's also giving more depth to the wave. Like, for example, here is, I think, a good example. It's a very classic composition. And mind me, there's real sand in it, which is not what we're going to do. But so here also, it's like the gray tone, which is now a bit of bluish, with accents of dark and accents of white. But if you look closely, there's still the mixing under. And then the finishing is really the highlights. Because we work with this beautiful palette, the you will always feel the same atmosphere. Here, I just go now with what I did. I put it here back again to show you. I really like this color because it feels a bit as the night color. So I hope I explained the question.
Yes, that was very helpful. Thank you.
Okay. I will continue now. Oh, I need some more red, so I add a bit. I really love these little tubes. Yeah, so sweet. So I mix yellow with the red, but of course it's too orange, although a little accent could do. So I add a bit of the phthalo blue, which makes it a more brownish red. And sometimes you just want to see, how does it work? So here, yeah, it can do. It's a bit dark, but it's okay. And so I think out loud, so I keep it. But so now I quickly cover up the whole sand part, so I can move on to the beach, to the sea again. And I always call where you mix colors. First the more you add, the grayer it literally becomes. But that is also what you want. At the same time, sometimes it's really nice to feel that you have been working not just with black and white, but with real color. So when I mix, I afterwards put it directly on the canvas. So this is really how I work. And I find colors that are a bit close to the other color. So painting is endlessly mixing. And sometimes it's a little bit more purplish. I need a little bit more. So towards the end, what I'm doing, oh, actually, excuse me. What I do now, of course, you could do it with a palette knife as well, but I really like painting with a brush.
Maggie, just an adjustment. Are you able to move the palette down a little bit? We can't see your brush strokes.
Sorry. Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Live action.
It's fine.
Good. Still here. Sorry, thank you. So, yeah. So while mixing red, let's see how I do here, maybe from the other side for now. Red with the yellow and the blue and a bit of white. You see, you find new colors as well. And I now slowly go towards to the sea. In the sea, it's also nice. It's also like in little rivers. There's sand underneath. So there's always a bit brown in it, or greenish because of the sand going through. Now I continue and I work from back to forward. In the back, I decide to have more blue. Where I started was a bit blue with red, and I had a little point of yellow. Here we go. And as you see, I hold my brush kind of steady. And I just fill everything up. Now, not everything. On the white, where the white is, I add more white. And so the white, I saved it a bit to have this in. And again, it's not only the blue and the white, but also a bit of red. Here we go. And now I make sure the canvas is gone. So here, as you see, I feel movement, and later I know I will go up with a palette knife, some white over here. And here, under the waves, you feel the water's taking everything back. And that's also the direction of your brush stroke. So the way you put on the brush stroke is actually how the water is floating. Okay. It's a bit too bluish, but you see now how in the end it's really dark, and towards the front the light is coming. Under the wave I make more darkness. And sometimes I just use the color which is already on my brush. Here we go. And now I just want to be sure everything is filled. So with, where the water touches the sand, their colors will be mixing. So what I do now here is a very little thin layer. And the stones, I will uplift them later, a little more. With a little water, I make sure to spread the color all over. So here we have the water. Okay, we're getting there now. So now it's just building up. Going from light to dark, light to dark. I like to go now for the waves. I can choose to do it with a brush, but as we also have the knife, let's go for the knife. With a knife, you always use, probably you already know, not like this, but the flat side. So this is the side you use. And now I'll go back to the board that will become a painting later on. Just a second. Here's some white. And as you see, there are some traces of blue on it, which is okay. Now I want to feel the waves turning. So I just make sure that on the top, the white, is going. Can you see that? So the trick is to make sure this line will be your line of direction. So here I go again. It's a bit too much. So if I had too much paint, I'll take it a bit away and put it on. Yep.
Just get one quick, like if you get a break, if you can bring the canvas close to the screen.
Oh yeah.
Or close to the camera.
It's difficult to see.
Just see some of the texture there.
Oh, wonderful, yeah. You see? So the real feeling of the waves, you can really make also with a brush but also with these easy, quick, with a palette knife.
Perfect.
And then we see far in the back, all these white little lines. This is something you use. So either with, now I have this, I do it with the brush. I just make sure these little waves in the back try to be there. You feel like, oh, there are all these waves coming towards us. And the kind of trick, it's just the way it is. All these lines are always horizontals, coming towards you. And then the moment that they fall towards you. So actually, I often just mix with also palette knife and brush. And now here, as like, probably the most difficult part is here at the front, as you see. Does this help?
I think so. Yeah.
Because that's where exactly the water touches the sand. And you can just use a line. And it helps that it has a dark line under. And here, you can imagine, it's just, the stone is holding back the water. And it just fills up the water. And as we have here now a kind of bluish surface, it's really nice. What you often see is that just go with a little dry, not too dry, but a little dry paint. To feel that there's water in there. Does it work?
Yeah, I think it's helpful seeing
Oh, great.
up
So next
close.
time I go a little closer. Yeah. And I'm just copying my painting, there. And then under the waves, it's darker. So, but the beautiful thing is I can, with this palette knife, I again can add a little bit extra, because we can really make this movement. You can really nearly hear the sound of this ocean. Yeah. And you can also use the point of the knife just to make a little drawing in it, or scratch in it. The scratching, that's what Rembrandt often used to give more structure. Now already, what I would like to do a little bit more in the sky, I won't choose for too thick sky with a, let me see. I need a little bit more paint, sorry. Here. As the skies, in this sense, the sky is a bit velvet. I use the blue and a bit of a red. And I like the light here, so I'll make this a bit dark on top. To have a feeling, the lighter, this light, probably the moon is behind, who knows? And now, with a little thicker paint, I go on top, you see? So this is how you can build on and build on. But the most important, you have your composition. Okay, now I add a little bit of white to a color, which I just mixed. And here you can feel already and every time I paint while looking through my eyelashes. So now I take a little bit more light to fill up here, as if there's a nice, not a cloud, but these more night covers, clothes. So here we are and you can change it a little bit by going over it. That's called wet in wet. While it's wet, you can still play in.
Susan is asking if we can have a show and tell at the end, and yes, we will.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward.
Yeah. We're creeping
it
up on
might be-
2:30, so just a real quick
Yeah,
interruption.
it's already
So right
2:30.
at, yeah, in just 2 minutes, maybe right at 2:30, we'll share. And then if there's some finishing things you want to do, feel free. We can continue for a few more
Okay,
minutes for sure.
yeah. So now you have your bases, and I'm really curious how you have been playing, of course. My feeling this is a bit too red. I want to have it more grayish. So I'll quickly mix red with white, with yellow, and a bit of blue. Keep it more greenish red. Instead, this is too much. Let's see how this helps. Yeah. So you're in dialogue endlessly with the colors, checking. And now we have quite of, what I like about the sea is also, there are moments when the sea is so abstract that it's really the color that resonates. So this is a theme you can continue endlessly with. And it's nice just to have a little bit of the real color under. Yeah. So now I can do the finishing touch. So I see, let's see. And always use a bit of, and now I think here, for me, these waves needs to be a bit better. So you can add a little bit dark color underneath. Here we go. Put here a bit darker. So we're quiet now, eh? Concentrated. So do we need to show it now? What do you think?
Yeah, if you are ready, that would be great.
Yeah, I think I'm ready.
Cool. So everyone put your cameras on, wipe
I'm
off
gonna
your
make a picture.
hands.
I'm so much looking forward.
So, Maggie, I don't know if you've done this before, but in your view settings, you can go to a gallery view, and that way you can see everyone's cameras at the same time.
Oh wow, let me see gallery view.
Oh,
Here, I have it.
starting to share, I can see. All right, so if you're not yet, go ahead, share. Put your painting up in the on your at your
Wow, how wonderful. This is
Oh, beautiful.
amazing. Absolutely. I only,
These are incredible.
unbelievable. Oh, you are making an image, aren't you?
Yes, Jacqueline is behind the scenes taking a screenshot so we can
Fantastic.
share it.
It's wonderful. I'm so proud. Look at that. I really feel, feel the seas that I see right now.
Yeah.
Champions you are. I see. Wow. Unbelievable. We should do a show together.
Yeah. And just a reminder, if you guys want to share with our community, hashtag create with Plaza Art on social media, we'll see it. And you can tag Lascaux as well and Maggie. That way all of us can see it. We'll try to share with everyone too. We love seeing all your work. It's
Yes,
beautiful.
absolutely.
Thank
Oh,
you
and I
so
see one more.
much.
Please show me. Phyllis, I see you by accident. Yeah. You have been working so wonderful. Fantastic.
They
Now,
kept up.
I'm really proud. I hope to meet you once in real life or see your images anyway on the other side of the ocean. And it's been for me already a great adventure to do this together with you. Um, also challenging, and but I'm amazed of what you did. Yes, so I hope you continue this. We have, in the end, we only used 2 canvases, so the third one probably could be a nice light one, so you really have the yin and the yang, huh? Like for instance, I'll show you. This is then a start to have a real light one for the next time, okay?
Ooh.
So they belong together, but I really, really like this. Yeah. Are there
Yeah,
any
we'll share
questions?
with you, Maggie,
Yeah,
afterwards.
This
thank
was
you so much.
wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah, really, thank you.
It was
I
really
hope we can do
wonderful.
this more often.
Yes. We'll
Yeah,
have you
and
back
Not a
anytime,
question,
Maggie.
but a quick comment. I just
yeah,
wanted to say it was so gorgeous to see everybody's own personal interpretations and expressions of one idea and then just see expanded across all the minds with the common consciousness. It was just gorgeous. I loved it, everybody. Thank you.
yes, I'm so happy. Yeah,
And I
yeah,
loved I loved how you see painting in your head and the way you talk. I mean, you see things out there, see the sea out there, but you also are able to have an image in your head and you let your I mean, I don't know much about it, but you let your painting guide what you actually produce.
yeah, that's true. But
I
that's
thought it
also
was
because of the, to be honest, the Lascaux, that's what I explained at the beginning. The colors, I mean, are so good. They help this way of working exactly. So uh, you only also need just a little pigment, a little color, and you can move on. Um, so this is maybe also something to tell, like in the store, also in the Netherlands, the colors of Lascaux are a little bit more expensive, but in the end, you need much less than other products. So economically, and also the way it's being made, it's really in care of nature as well. Yeah. So that's also something I wanted to share. That it's not only me, but it's also the paint. Absolutely. Yeah. No, but I'm really impressed by you guys. And oh, this is actually wonderful. That it was exactly what I was hoping for that I'm not interested in you copying me, but I'm interested in your creative souls, which I see now by your paintings. So this is the handwriting that communicates. Yes,
Can I ask a question?
please do.
Can we also use this on watercolor paper?
Yes, of course. Yes, on every can, on every. Yes, when I go, I often paint. I love paper also. So most of my work is actually on paper, but
Okay.
yeah, and but now I start to fall in love with canvas again, to be honest, the real linen and so on. But it can go on panels, on wood. So this, for example, is on wood,
Nice.
and but with a good just so you can paint directly on paper. Also stones, I always love stones as well. You find those beautiful stones that you can paint on. Yeah,
Maggie, we did have a request. Just if you could bring the reference image up to the camera that you were using.
and otherwise I can also
Jason just asked
send you.
Yes. Yeah, if you can send me a copy of that, we can share it with everyone in the post-event email.
Yeah,
We'll share a link so you guys can reference that in the future.
yeah, good idea. And one, so I really love to bring my paint outdoor. That's where I feel the best to work, not in the studio, but outdoor. But what I really do, so I'm really looking forward that you will do the same. You have your backpack, you have your beautiful set, a bottle of water, the brush, you have everything already in your kit. Go out, make painted sketches, like actually I did in the Salinas Valley. And then you can always go back because you have seen it really just by sitting down and painting. And then you can always make bigger paintings if necessary, or continue more versions. Yeah.
This was really great. Thank you so much, Maggie.
Yeah.
I did really enjoy this, watching you paint and mix and learn the way you do it from your perspective and sharing that with us. I'm very grateful and hope to have you again soon or
It
at
would
some
be fun.
point. It would be
I really
wonderful.
enjoyed it. Yeah.
Thank you all for attending today. We love these. Hope to see you on the next one. If you have, Maggie, before we go, do you want to give just where they can find you and more about you?
Oh yeah.
Anything?
Oh, and I had so much more to tell, to show. Also, well, we'll keep it for another time. Where can you find me in real life in Amsterdam? So anybody who comes here, just find me maybe on Instagram at
Yeah.
Insta, and then my last name, Aardse. And right now, you will find it's a now mixing of images of seas, but also of the courtroom, because I'm having I just into landscapes, of course, but now in the courtroom as a landscape, we have a big exhibition. Yeah.
Great. If you have any links, share it with us. We'll put it in the email as well. And that way people can see more.
Okay.
Thank you
Now,
so
I'm
much.
a bit sad of saying bye-bye.
You can drag it out a little. It's okay.
Yes. And okay. So please move on with your great paintings, which I just saw a few of them. I'm really happy.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Maggie. Hope to see you again. Hope everyone has the great rest of their day. Have a good one. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you.